services, how to set them up. And before that, we went through custom fields. So as you see, we're kind of building a foundational workflow of setting up your service autopilot. And then we're going through and training a workflow that's standardized literally from lead acquisition through estimating, through scheduling, dispatching, billing, prepayments, and installment billing as well, and contracts. So the next step here in this video is how to go out and create child services. So child services are sub-services that live below the main service. And the main point of a child service is it's not clear to or visible to the client, but it's basically your invisible estimate checklist. So the estimator has a systematic way to go out and create this estimate. So this is going to be the new UI, user interface of Service Autopilot here, what it looks like. So same as before, we're going into the gear icon and we're going to type in services. So what we're going to do is create a shrub trimming example. So first thing we're going to do is go into the Simple Growth Pricing Matrix Blueprint. So this is the blueprint that we build all our estimates off of to make sure we're making the predictable profit and we know how to set these services up. In addition, anytime our per hour man price or expenses change, we have this blueprint to go off of. So anybody that does work with Simple Growth, we obviously get to keep this when we build these out with you or set them up. But the idea is our main service here is shrub trimming. That is not going to include a custom field. Just shrub pruning is our main parent service. That's the core service that we'd be setting up. Under 2A, 2B, and 2.3 here, we are going to set up child services. So the first one is number of small shrubs. And if I'm charging $55 an hour and $35 expense per man hour, we've created some fictitious pricing here, but the idea is based on a standard production rate, how long it's going to take you to trim a small, medium, and large shrub. Small are 3 feet or under 3 feet, medium are 3 to under 10 feet, and between 3 and under 6 feet, and then large are 6 to 10 feet. So those are the variables that we're looking at for a standardized production rate on shrub trimming. Now, what we're going to do is it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So for every one small shrub, we're charging $2.75, 0.05 man hours, 3 minutes, and a break even. It's costing us $1.75 to trim and clean up those shrubs on average. Now, obviously, we're going to be trimming and cleaning them up all in one long set, but this was some based on production rate based estimating time studies. And then every 1/1 shrub, every additional shrub is $2.75, 0.05 hours, and $1.75. And we've done that same 1-to-1 equation for small, medium, and in this example, just small and medium shrubs. So what we're going to be doing here is modeling how to set up a main service and then child services below this in version 3 of Service Autopilot. So the first thing we do is go back to add a service. And the first one we want to add is our parent service of shrub pruning. Notice there's no data in here. There's no custom field. We just need a service. So what we're going to do is put shrub pruning, and I'm just going to put some numbers behind here because I've got a lot of these in my test account. The next thing is we need a code, so SP, shrub pruning, and we're going to go in and select the service mode of per unit and just paste in an estimate description or invoice description. You'd obviously want to customize this and select the account. And we're going to go in and select estimates, and this is where we type out the description. Now, traditionally, we would go in the third tab of rate matrix. We are going to leave this blank. So we're going to go in and hit save new, and we're going to file the next 2 services of small and medium shrubs underneath this. So going into the price matrix, we got number of small shrubs. We're going to drive in and paste that in. And the next thing we need to do is go and select the parent service, and we're going to type in shrub pruning, and that was our one with, I believe, 33 that I put in our example here, so we can find it right here. And now we don't need to do anything else besides this, but go in and hit use and estimates only. So it now compresses it, and we're going to go into rate matrix now. Quantity rate times visits. Custom field is going to be our number of small shrubs. Obviously, you would need to build this out in advance. And then we're going in and copying this 1-to-1 is 275 and 0.05. And we're going to grab that 5th button here and copy that over. And that is $1.75. And there's no need to look back at the sheet because the bottom line is going to line up identical with the top line. If you're still just starting out with Service Autopilot with the blueprint, you would want to ensure you follow this. So the top 5 line here line up with the top 5 lines on the blueprint or the matrix, and then the bottom 5 lines here line up with the bottom 5 lines here in the blueprint. Now, what we would do then is save and new. That's going to capture the parent service again, and then we would go in and recreate this for the number of medium shrubs. So we're going to drop that in here. Once again, we're going to go in, use estimates only, rate matrix, calc time visits, and this is going to be medium shrubs. Now, obviously, you want to build this custom field before you get into this, because that's the sequential steps you need to make. And then the same exact process, we're going into medium shrubs. 1-to-1 is 458.08. And 292. Then we're going to take that same equation from the top and drive that process in here once again. And we would hit save and new and add our large shrubs, our hedgerows with and without a ladder. So I'm just going to hit save. Now, just to put in context where a child service runs into, our video later in the training course here that we have inside the Learning Hub is going to go over the how to build a template. But I'm going to go in at least on a high level to be able to show you what this looks like. So job estimate template is where we're going to create a template that loads all our services for an estimate. And I'm just going to add a just a test template here so we can kind of see what this looks like when we do this. So we obviously want to label it. We're going to go in and make it for jobs and estimates. That's going to pull in an estimate document. We're going to connect our estimate documents. All the contractual verbiage on the estimate document, estimate email, and acceptance email is all tied in. That'll be followed in a subsequent video as well. But you would just go in and grab that that document, and then what we would do is add the item. So we're going to add the service of shrub pruning that we just built. Then we go in to the plus green icon and go into services again and pull number of medium shrubs. And that is going to load in there. So we got the number of medium and small shrubs in there. So you'd want to add them when you add this in here. If you go in and add the include default services, pops them all in. Depending on that, sometimes that's a time saver. Sometimes it pulls too much data in there. So sometimes it's up to you. Traditionally, we try not to include that unless we have a really long list because it keeps it clean. But the idea is now all the consumer is going to see is the calculation. So if I add in 2 shrubs here, it calculates the price in budgeted hours, but all the consumer sees is shrub trimming for $5.50 fictitiously, but we'd have our small, medium, large, and hedgerows. So it allows you to have a parent service with the basically the details underneath it hidden from the client, but that's how you can pump data and build a production rate-based estimating system on a multi-step job. As far as shrub pruning, design, build, even in some time of the home cleaning, we do this as well, build out with a parent-child service. So if you're doing fridge cleanouts, stove cleanouts, or additional add-ons for your top to bottom deluxe that you may not want as a line item, those things can be broken out separately. So that is how we add a child service in V3, and we'll see in the next video for our Simple Growth V3 training based on the new release that's just been set up.